Welcome to Lake Tahoe, and I'm pretty sure that anyone with eyes can see why this has become such a popular wedding destination, but it does have a personal tie for me. I am a skier, snowboarder, hiker, and my family has been coming here for years. My dad loved it so much that we actually sprinkled some of his ashes here in the bay, and since he can't be there for the big day, in this way he kind of can be. So up first we stopped at the Valhalla Tahoe. I feel like I just have to say, disclaimer, the biggest problem that you'll have if you're looking at venues in Lake Tahoe is that they're all gorgeous. Deciding which part of the lake you want to be on, if you want the ceremony directly in the water, that's all stuff that you're going to have to figure out, but these venues are all stunning. This structure at the Valhalla Tahoe is a historic building. Everything is the original architecture. They have the old windows, they have the old stonework. And we were there in the fall, as you probably guessed. So the colors of the trees at that time of year are just stunning. They do have their own waterfront property with a dock, so you kind of are getting that indoor-outdoor feel for your guests, since those double doors of the building open up onto the grounds and lead out to this beautiful waterfront. We really did love this space. I felt like it was so special. It was relatively private, but there are certain capacity restrictions on a building of this size and with these type of grounds, where with our massive guest list, it really wasn't going to be able to fit us. Next, we went to the Edgewood Tahoe, which has a brand new resort that they built on the property, which is absolutely gorgeous. I've actually attended a wedding here at the Edgewood back in the day, pre-resort, and it was in the clubhouse where they still have those wedding ceremonies. I've never seen such immaculate grounds, stunning views all around, and the reception space is just beautiful. This architecture with these incredible windows, these perfect views, really, really, truly stunning. Our biggest drawback here was just, it is still a country club. You would have your country club guests around, which is really not the vibe of Brandon and I, if you know us at all. The reception space was actually a little bit small. We kind of have to spill over into multiple rooms. We weren't loving that idea. So we moved on to the Hyatt Regency Lake Tahoe, which is up in Incline Village, which is actually Nevada. And this wound up being our runner-up. So we were really surprised. We almost didn't even want to look at this place because we were like, we're not having our wedding at a Hyatt. But as you can see, this is a very special Hyatt. They have these villas that are across the street from the main hotel where you and your guests can be staying for the wedding, kind of more of like a really fancy condo type of feel. And the ceremony would actually take place right there on the waterfront, which is pretty rare for these venues. A lot of them have rules against that. They have this awesome clubhouse where my mom and dad used to eat dinner all the time. It is still a Hyatt, so your reception space is kind of a classic ballroom, but it does open up to the water, which is really spectacular. And here, we thought the biggest highlight was just the guest experience. They would not need to leave the resort at all. They've got the beach, they've got the fire pits, they've got their s'mores, they've got the casino, anything that they could need all in one place. Next up, we went to the PlumpJack Inn, which I thought this place was so magical. I was outnumbered on this one, but I just loved how intimate this felt, how secluded, and it just almost felt otherworldly, like with just the trees growing out all over the place and the beautiful colors. And it is an inn, so essentially our wedding guests would be taking over the entire property. The ceremony space here is surrounded by trees with the mountain in the background, very secluded, which appealed a lot to me since I don't love being the center of attention. And it is actually next to a stream. The stream happens to have dried up, so definitely one of the downsides here was that it's not right on the lake and doesn't really have a lake view, but beautiful reception space, got your wood beam ceilings. It all opens up into this outdoor space that kind of overlooks the grounds. And the director, Rob, here at the PlumpJack was just phenomenal. So easy to work with, so helpful, gave us lots of wedding tips, loved him. We decided to check out the incline of Incline Village, and while we were over there, we swung by the Chateau. Now, the Chateau is very clearly a golf club. So you'll see we didn't have a whole lot of videos or photos here because we knew pretty quickly it wasn't for us, but check out this amazing reception space. Definitely one of the biggest, most well-lit spaces I've seen. Tons of outdoor space with those outdoor heaters, but the ceremony itself would have been taking place right on the golf green. Brandon and I don't even golf, so it really just didn't make any sense for us. Last but definitely not least is Alpine Meadows Squaw Valley. Now, this is kind of a whole area. There's 2 different venues and we will be using both of them. This is what we chose for the wedding. It is this lower venue, which is the Olympic Lodge, and this outdoor space, which is actually the backup space for the ceremony if for some reason weather is not cooperating. But the grand plan is to actually have the ceremony up at High Camp. You see the top of the mountain there, that's where the ceremony will be. Then we'll come back down for the reception, which I love. There was this huge outdoor space in the reception building. I overheat very easily, so that was very appealing to me. And the inside has those Olympic rings and all the old beams and plenty of windows, plenty of natural light. Got your fireplace and everything. Love that. But for me, really the biggest selling point here was this experience. Your guests can walk across the street to the reception, leave whenever they need to go back to the hotel, and then take a gondola up to the top of the mountain for the ceremony, where you'll have the view of the lake in the background. I mean, to me, this was everything. You're literally getting married on top of a mountain with a view of Lake Tahoe, and your guests will be staying in the Olympic Village, which has everything that your guests could possibly need. We ended our trip with a beautiful sunset on the lake, and we are headed back in March for a wedding tasting. So you guys, if you want to see more about the gondola, the space up at High Camp, or the wedding tasting, or anything else on our Tahoe travels, definitely follow me on Instagram at KeelyMcRae, and I'll see you guys around. Happy wedding planning!